Hey there you guys, and welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you are returning. Today I want to talk about perfectionism when it comes to manifestation. So if manifestation and conscious creation are topics that you are interested in learning more about, then definitely don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And if you enjoy my content, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. And this video is going to be more of a PSA than an instruction video, but it really needs to be said regardless. One of the most common misconceptions about all of this, manifestation in general, is that we have to be perfect at this, or that we'll never have a bad thought again or a bad day, that basically we need to be outstanding, perfect, not a trace of a bad thought, or it's not going to work. And this may sound a bit extreme, but this is actually a mentality that a lot of people have. And I've been seeing it more and more. And I certainly know that it was present in myself. I was terrible at this and very much guilty of the same thing. But there's an idea that we need to be absolutely amazing at this. And it stems from quite a few things, but it typically is more pronounced in those that already may have somewhat of a perfectionist streak in other areas, or those who are more type A personalities and the overachievers. This one's directly for you. But we can all be susceptible to this, and it is very, very prominent in the self-help community at large. And it's something that I've been wanting to address for some time now, and really, really needs to be said. Because the idea that we have to be perfect at this, or that we're never allowed to have a bad thought or a bad day, or that, any negative thought is just going to destroy our lives, that's all bullshit. Because the truth is, we're not going to be perfect and always positive and always rainbows and sunshines all the time. That is not a thing in the human experience. And yet this is what is taught, or at the very least what is perceived by a lot of people, that unless we are thinking positive all the time, then we're doomed to have a terrible existence. This load of crap is completely false, and it drives me crazy, I'm just going to say. Because what this does is it puts us at this super high reach, or makes it so we have this extreme ask of ourselves that just does not feel obtainable. It never feels like it's possible. And that's because it's not human to not ever have reactions. It is not human to ever have bad days. It is not human to never have a bad thought. That's not what manifestation is about. And what this mentality does is cause a ton of strain within us. And this is actually a known term and a known phenomenon in the self-help community, referred to as a lot of the times as toxic positivity. These kinds of things are especially prominent in the law of attraction, but it is definitely starting to seep over into the law of assumption teachings as well. And I absolutely have to nip this seed in the bud, because to think that we're never going to have any sort of bad thought, or we're never going to have any kind of reaction, or we're never going to have a conflict ever again, is ridiculous. Now, that's not to say that we should be marinating in our shit all the time, or that we want to persist in the repetition of our terrible mindset. The goal and the aim is to shift our focus and instead focus on imagining that outcome and desire that we want, and seeing ourselves as the person that we desire to be. That is 100% the aim here. But to think that if we ever have any negative thought or any reaction that we are doomed to failure is this mentality is incredibly harmful. And unfortunately, this is showing its face all over this community, and it really needs to be addressed. You do not have to be perfect at this to manifest. It is okay to have bad days. And in fact, that is the preference over the alternative, which is to just suppress it. And unfortunately, that's what a lot of people get into the habit of doing. is they just shove their emotions down. They try to ignore or suppress any sort of negative feeling that they have, and they keep shoving it and they keep shoving it and they keep shoving it. But the problem with that is inevitably, at some point or another, it's going to come up and it's going to come out. And when this inevitably happens, we go on the biggest guilt trip and we get mad at ourselves and we start lashing ourselves. We start getting hard on ourselves, thinking that we're failures and that we're never going to get this right and all of that. It causes a cascading mountain of shit. So instead of thinking that we need to be perfect at this, I really need to stress the importance of letting yourself be human. We are here having this human experience, and part of that is that you may have a bad day or notice a bad train of thoughts happening from time to time. That's okay. You can absolutely go and revise that or change that after the fact. Once you've had a chance to let it out, once you've had a chance to just be mad or be sad or whatever needs to happen to help you process. After that, when you will inevitably feel better, you can go back and revise it. You can always change it. You can change that ever happened later. Because the truth is, you have the power to do anything, and you cannot fail at this just because you had a bad thought or a bad day. That is not how this works. It is okay to feel your human emotions. And in fact, that is much better than the alternative. So let yourself be human and have your human moments. The law of assumption is not about needing to be perfect and positive all the time. It is about understanding that you have the source and the means and the tools within you to change any outcome that comes up that is perhaps not ideal. So this is not about making sure that everything is always sunshine and rainbows and you'll never have a bad impression ever again, but that no matter what, you have the power to turn it around and change it. And as you continue on this journey, and as you get more and more confident in yourself and in the law, you're going to naturally be better, faster, and more detached from any of those negative thoughts or outcomes. But in the meantime, if it happens, let it happen. It's okay. Again, I'm going to say it a million times, much better than the alternative. So let yourself feel whatever might need to be coming up. If you feel like you need to explode, explode. Even Neville talks about this. Even Neville stresses the importance of this by this quote right here. We are told, be angry, but sin not. The word translated angry is to be enraged when you are opposed by some great authority on this level and there is no way out, but none. He has the authority to impose his will, and it's not what you want. You want out. You want the fulfillment of your desire. And here is one endowed with the power to impose his will, and therefore you're told to be enraged, but sin not. To sin is to miss the mark. Don't give up your goal because he seemingly has the authority to impose his will and say to you, no, this is final. So to sin is to miss the mark. We're told in Scripture, never give up the goal, never give up the intention. So be enraged, but sin not. The whole vast world responds. It reflects the activities of man. We're told, do not let the sun go down upon your anger. James writes in his 1 epistle, don't let it go down on the anger. Be angry, yes. If it is going to release you or in any way help, blow it. But don't let the sun go down upon the anger, for that's a sacrifice that you are making. So offer the sacrifice of right thinking, the sacrifice of righteousness. If a man is willing to do that, if he wants to spend a few moments with himself in mental argument, all well and good. Now, go back to the goal. What's up, guys? Missy from the future here as I'm doing some editing on this video, and I just want to pop in really quick to make some clarifications on what I just read from Neville, because I understand that it might be a little bit confusing, so just want to clear some things up. What Neville's talking about in the first paragraph, where he talks about somebody with the authority to impose their will, that's a metaphor that he's using to imply the 3D circumstance. So it's not that he's saying that somebody on the outside actually has authority over you. It just appears like there are circumstances in the 3D world that feel like they put us in a box. He's talking about when we have these circumstances that feel very final or feel very defeating, when we're left feeling very limited, like something else is bigger than us and has authority over us. So when Neville says being enraged when you are opposed by some great authority on this level, and it feels like there's no way out, and imposing his will, that's what he's referring to. He's referring to 3D circumstances that leave us feeling very defeated. And when that happens, that it is okay to be enraged, or it's okay to be reactive if that's what we need to be and do in that moment. But ultimately, the point Neville's making here is that be angry, but sin not. So be angry, but don't give up. Don't throw in the towel. Get angry, then get determined again. And the second paragraph is the really important one, because Neville goes on to say, don't let it go down on the anger. Be angry, yes. If it is going to release you or in any way help, then blow it or get mad, but don't let the sun go down upon the anger, for that's the sacrifice you are making. So offer the sacrifice of right thinking, the sacrifice of righteousness. Now, what does he mean by sacrifice of righteousness? He means be angry. He means if we have to sacrifice our righteousness in that moment and have a moment to be upset and explode and get it off our chest, then we can do that. If man is willing to do that, if he wants to spend a few moments with himself in mental argument, all well and good. And that's pretty self-explanatory. What Neville's saying is, so long as you are willing to redirect later, so long as you don't give up and miss the mark entirely, then you're allowed to get angry. That's totally fine. It's not going to ruin things for you. It's not going to make it so that you failed or destroyed this or anything like that. So this is the quick note that I wanted to make so that you guys had a better understanding of these excerpts, because I know it could be confusing, but it's very apparent what Neville's saying here. Get angry, but don't let the sun descend upon that anger. So that is, get angry, explode, have a moment, and then get back on the bandwagon. That's all. Later, guys. So as you can clearly see, what Neville's saying is that if you need to get it out, then let yourself just get it out. Do not let the sun descend upon your anger, which means that you want to just make sure you go ahead and revise it after the fact once you are feeling better. But when you are feeling pissed or sad, it is going to feel inherently more challenging if you're just trying to suppress it than by releasing it and then revising it. It is going to feel damn near impossible to imagine that wish fulfilled when you are feeling sad or angry. So let it out, do what you need to do, get it off your chest, and then come back to revise it later. Remember, this is all about knowing that you have the means, the power, and the tools to change any outcome and change any circumstance that you may not see desirable or see fit. And the more that you do this, the more that you really begin to explore and discover and prove to yourself that you are in fact the operant power, the more that you begin to see and notice those changes within you and the external changes from that, you're going to be better and faster and more detached from any of those old negative thinking patterns. But that does not mean that they may go away entirely and you'll never have a bad thought again. Just that, no matter what, you have the power to change anything. So let yourself have a moment if that's what you need. And the more that we do this, the more that we're going to understand that this is exactly how you can manifest anything that you want, even if you're pissed. So I hope you guys enjoyed my little PSA here. I hope it helps. If you did, if you liked it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you're interested in checking out any of my other resources, I will have links down below to my one-on-one coaching, my blog, my social channels, my podcast, my group coaching program, all that good stuff. Got a ton of information down there for you below, so don't forget to check it out. Also, don't forget to watch the other videos on this channel. Don't forget to check out my Manifestation Fundamentals playlist. Each video is a different topic, but it all talks about how to manifest the best life ever. So until we meet again, you guys, as always, take care, be well, and never forget how powerful you truly are. Happy manifesting, guys.